Good day everyone, I'm Mark Oliver Pahota and together with my group mates, we will explain all there is to know about wind turbines. Wind turbines are one of the most widely used renewable energy technologies today, playing a crucial role in reducing carbon emissions and supporting sustainable power generation. So by the end of this video, we will understand how wind turbines operates, its parts and their function, how it is designed, and its evolution. Wind energy comes from the movement of air, which is a form of kinetic energy. Wind is created because the Earth's sun hits the Earth's surface unevenly. Some areas become warmer than others, causing differences in air pressure. As a result, air moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas, creating wind. A wind turbine is designed to capture this moving air and convert its energy into electricity. The basic principle behind a wind turbine is simple. When wind flows across the turbine blades, it causes them to rotate. This rotational motion is then transferred to internal mechanical and electrical components that generates electrical power. So how does wind turbine operates? Wind turbines operates on the same aerodynamic principles used in aircraft wings. The blades are shaped like airfoils, meaning they create lift when the wind passes over them. The pressure on the top of the surface of the blade becomes lower than the pressure underneath, producing lift na nagpapaikot sa mga blades. Then once umiikot yung mga blades, doon nagkakaroon ng conversion between mechanical energy into electrical energy inside the wind turbine. And this electrical energy is the one to be distributed through the utility lines. So in essence, a wind turbine acts as the reverse of an electric fan. Instead of using electricity to create wind, it uses wind to create electricity. So to better understand its operation, let us first identify the major components of a wind turbine. First are the blades. Most wind turbines have three aerodynamic blades designed like airplane wings. Their shape allows them to capture wind efficiently and generate lift. Next is the rotor, which consists of the blades and the hub. The rotor is the part that spins when wind passes through the blades. The nacelle is the housing located at the top of the tower. It contains critical components such as the gearbox, generator, shaft, brake system, and control electronics. The tower supports the nacelle and the rotor at a height where wind speed is stronger and more consistent. Finally, there is the foundation, which anchors the turbine securely to ensure stability even during strong winds. So, step-by-step operation of a wind turbine. So for step 1, wind interaction with the blades. So pag nag-flow yung hangin through the blades, it creates lift due to the pressure between upper and lower blade surfaces. So this lift force causes the blades to rotate. The angle of the blades, known as the pitch angle, is automatically adjusted to maximize energy capture and protect the turbine during strong winds. Step 2. Rotor and low-speed shaft rotation. So as soon as the blade rotates, the rotor turns the low-speed shaft, which typically rotates at 10 to 30 revolutions per minute. And kung susuriin natin ito, this speed is too slow to generate electricity directly. So further processing is very much required. So that's why in step 3, gearbox operation, yung high speed na shaft na nasa loob ng gearbox na connected doon sa low speed shaft increases the rotational speed significantly, often up to 1,000 to 1,800 revolutions per minute. So some other turbines use direct drive systems that eliminate the gearbox to improve efficiency and reduce maintenance. Next is dito sa step 4, electricity generation. Yung high speed shaft drives the generator, And sa loob ng generator, dito na nangyayari yung conversion between mechanical energy into electrical energy using the principle of electromagnetic induction. And electromagnetic induction states that a voltage is produced across an electric conductor when it is exposed to a changing magnetic field. So as the coils of wire move within a magnetic field, an electric current is induced. So power conditioning and grid connection. So after magpag-produce ng electricity ng wind turbine, it cannot be sent directly to homes and industries yet. Why? This is because yung electrical output from the generator is nagva-vary in terms of voltage and frequency na nakadepende doon sa wind speed and turbine rotation. So to solve this, the electricity must first pass through a power conditioning system, also known as a power converter. This converter stabilizes and control the electrical output to ensure na yung voltage at frequency is tugma doon sa required standards ng power grid. This step is essential for safe and reliable operation. And then once the electricity is properly conditioned, it flows to a transformer, usually located inside the nacelle or the base of the turbine tower. The transformer increases the voltage level so that electricity can be transmitted efficiently over long distances with minimal losses. So after the voltage transformation, the electricity is sent through underground cables or overhead transmission lines to a substation. From there, it is distributed sa mga bahay, schools, industries, and any other consumers that needs the electricity. Next is control and safety systems. So nowadays, wind turbines are equipped with advanced control and safety systems. Andyan yung mga various sensors that continuously monitor wind speed, wind direction, temperature, vibration, and rotational speed. So these sensors send a real-time data to the turbine's control unit, which automatically ina-adjust yung operation ng wind turbine. Next is the yaw system. So it ensures that the turbine always faces the wind for maximum efficiency. So yung yaw system is yung nasa baba ng nacelle. Ito yung nagro-rotate dun sa wind turbine to ensure na nakaharap yung blade where the wind blows. Another key system is the pitch control system. So this system adjusts the angle of the blades to regulate rotor speed. During strong winds, the blades are pitched to reduce rotation and prevent mechanical overload. So for safety, wind turbines are equipped with braking systems. So if yung hangin is masyado malakas or may fault doon sa system ng wind turbine, the brakes can slow down or completely stop the rotor to prevent further damage.
Hi guys, ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon is about wind turbines, especially ang difference ng geared at gearless wind turbine. Usually nakikita lang natin sila sa malalayong fields or sa dagat, pero hindi natin alam kung paano talaga sila gumagana at ano yung pros and cons ng bawat isa. So if curious kayo kung alin ang mas efficient, mas mahal, or mas tahimik, stay tuned lang kayo hanggang dulo. What is wind turbines? A wind turbine is a machine that harnesses the power of the wind to generate electricity. It works by using the aerodynamic force from its blades, which are designed to capture wind energy efficiently. As the wind blows, it turns the blades, which spin a rotor connected to a generator, producing electrical energy. So, sa madaling salita, yung wind turbine is a device that converts the kinetic energy of wind into electrical energy, playing a crucial role in renewable energy generation. So, ayun nga no, yung wind turbine daw ay isang machine na nagko-convert ng wind energy into electrical energy. Kapag umiikot yung blades dahil sa hangin, umiikot din yung shaft niya sa loob. Tapos yung rotation na yun yung nagko-convert into electricity gamit yung isang generator. So sa wind turbine meron tayong dalawang types. Una is geared wind turbine and sunod naman is gearless wind turbine or direct drive wind turbine. Dito tayo sa geared wind turbines. In the context of wind energy, geared wind turbines refer to wind turbines that utilize a gearbox to increase the rotational speed of the rotor blades to a higher speed suitable for electricity generation. The gears in wind turbines are crucial for converting the low-speed rotation of the turbine rotor to a high-speed rotation, necessary for the generator to produce electricity efficiently. The gearbox, which includes gears, bearings, shafts, and lubrication systems, plays a key role in the process. The gears within the gearbox work together to transfer the mechanical energy from the rotor to the generator, increasing the rotational speed to a level suitable for electricity generation. So, sa geared system daw, meron tayong gearbox. Ang trabaho ng gearbox ay pabilisin yung ikot ng rotor bago siya pumasok sa generator. Kasi usually mabagal lang umikot ang blades, around 10 to 30 RPM lang. Pero ang generator kailangan ng mas mataas na speed like thousands of RPM. So kung papansin niyo, ang laki ng diferensya. So yung gearbox ang nag-handle nun. Dito tayo sa mga advantages of geared wind turbine. First is mas mura siya compared sa gearless. Kaya mas common ito lalo na sa older wind turbine designs. Second naman is mas maliit ang generator kasi mataas na yung speed na pumapasok. Third is proven technology na siya. Matagal na itong ginagamit. Kaya marami technicians ang marunong mag-maintain at mag-ayos nito. And last naman is mas madali yung transportation pag gagawin siya, since di gaano kalakihan yung mga parts niya and madali siyang i-install. Next naman is etong mga disadvantages ng geared wind turbine. Number 1, high maintenance siya. Dahil maraming moving parts ang gearbox, mas mabilis siyang masira. Syempre, wala anumang bagay na hindi naluluma pag matagal na ginagamit. Number 2 is mas mataas yung chance na mag-fail siya since madaming gear na need mag-function para mapagana yung generator. So need talaga ng right timing ng mga gear para lumapat and mag-function ng maganda. Number 3 is mas maingay yung gears na nagge-generate ng noise. Kaya hindi siya ideal malapit sa residential areas and also malakas din yung vibration niya. And number 4 naman is lower reliability in the long run. Kapag nasira yung gearbox, mahal at matagal lang repair. Next naman is etong gearless wind turbines. Gearless wind turbines, also known as direct drive wind turbines, operate without a gearbox, which is a common component in traditional wind turbines. Instead, the rotor shaft is directly connected to the generator, allowing the generator to spin at the same speed as the blades. This design eliminates the need for a gearbox, which can be a source of reliability problems and transmission losses. Gearless turbines are particularly beneficial for small wind turbines, which do not require a gearbox due to their lower rotational speeds. Dito sa gearless wind turbine, also known as direct drive wind turbine, dito wala siyang gearbox. Direktang nakakabit yung rotor niya sa generator. Ibig sabihin, kahit mabagal yung ikot ng blades, kaya pa rin niyang mag-produce ng electricity dahil malaki at especially designed yung generator niya. Dito naman tayo sa advantages of gearless wind turbine. First advantage is fewer yung movement parts niya. Walang masasayang na mechanical energy dahil wala nang dadaan ng mga gearings kasi nga walang gearbox ang isang gearless wind turbine. Second advantage naman niya is low maintenance siya. Since walang gearbox, mas kaunti yung parts na pwedeng masira. Third is higher reliability siya and longer yung lifespan niya. Kumpara sa geared wind turbines, mas reliable sa long-term use. Mas stable siya lalo na sa harsh environments. Fourth is, since konti nga yung parts niya, so dahil doon nare-reduce niya yung mechanical losses, wala nang energy na nasasayang sa pagdaan sa mga gear. Kasi nga nakarekta na o nakakonect na yung shaft na mismo papunta sa generator. Last is mas tahimik siya. Perfect ito para sa areas na malapit sa bahay or sa offshore wind farms. Dito naman tayo sa disadvantages ng gearless wind turbine. Una is mas mahal siya. Yung generator niya kasi is mas malaki kumpara sa geared wind turbines. Tapos gumagamit pa siya ng mga rare materials. Number 2 is mas mabigat siya. Dahil malaki yung generator, mas challenging ang installation. Number 3 is napaka-rare ng mga materials na ginagamit sa kanya, na naging isa sa dahilan para maging mahal yung price ng isang gearless wind turbine. Dagdag pa doon is it consists of multiple permanent magnets. Kaya gearless lang siya kung tawagin, kaya parang mura dahil nabawasan nga ng parts, pero hindi. Mas mahal pa siya kasi nga rare yung mga materials na ginamit para mabuo siya. And last naman is more complex power electronics and advanced yung technology niya. Meaning, hindi lahat ng technician ay trained para mag-maintenance doon o para gawin yon. So, quick comparison tayo. In terms of cost, si geared ay mas mura, si gearless naman is mas mahal. Sa maintenance naman, si geared mataas, si gearless mababa yung price. Sa noise naman, si geared is mas maingay kumpara kay gearless. Si gearless tahimik siya mag-operate. In terms of reliability, si geared okay pero may risk sa gearbox. Si gearless naman mas reliable siya sa long term. So, depende talaga siya kung saan mo gagamitin at ano yung priority. Ngayong alam na natin ng two types of wind turbine, syempre mapapaisip at mapapatanong tayo. So, alin nga ba ang mas maganda? Or which one is better? If budget friendly and madaling ayusin, go for geared wind turbine. Pero if ang goal mo ay long-term efficiency, less maintenance at quiet operation, then gearless wind turbine ang mas okay. Kaya nga ngayon, maraming modern wind farms ang unting-unting lumilipat sa gearless system. So ayun guys, that's the difference between the geared and gearless wind turbines, plus their advantages and disadvantages. Hopefully, mas naging clear sa inyo kung paano sila nagwo-work at kung bakit important yung design choice.
Okay, next is blade design. Blade design is to produce an amount of power wind turbine blades is aerofoils. Aerofoils is the cross-sectional shape of the blades that determines its aerodynamics. They are the key to the blade design. This airfoil designs allows the blade tips of a wind turbine to move faster than the wind is moving, thus generating more power and efficiencies. So ang airfoil daw ay ang cross-sectional na hugis ng wind turbine blades. Kaya nagde-determine kung paano ito nakikipag-interact sa hangin o ang aerodynamics nito. Mahalaga ang airfoil dahil ito ang isa sa mga key factors ng blade designs. Dahil sa tamang airfoil design, nagkakaroon ng maayos na daloy ng hangin sa paligid or area ng blade. Ito ang dahilan kung bakit ang blade tips ng wind turbine ay pwedeng gumalaw ng mas mabilis kaysa sa mismong hangin. Kapag mas mabilis ang ikot ng blades, mas maraming power ang nagge-generate at mas efficient ang wind turbine kahit sa mas mababang wind speed. So in this figure, we see the different design of airfoils blade. In addition to this curved design, twisted and tapered blades further enhance its aerodynamics. With the combined effect of twisting and tapering the blade along its length improves the length of attack, increasing speed, efficiency, and lift while reducing drag. Bukod sa curved design ng wind turbine blades, mas pinahusay pa ang aerodynamics nito sa pamamagitan ng twisted at tapered blade design. Ibig sabihin, ang blade ay umiikot o twisted at pumapayat o tapered habang papunta sa dulo. Ang combination nito ng twisting at tapering ay tumutulong para ma-maintain ang tamang angle of attack sa bawat bahagi or area ng blade. Dahil dito, mas mabilis ang ikot, mas efficient ang energy conversions, at mas malaki ang leap na nagagawa nito. Sabay nito, nabababa ang drag, kaya mas konting energy ang nasasayang at mas optimal ang performance ng wind turbine. Here is now the question. Based on the previous slides, what number of blades is the best design in consideration of air, the factors, means construction, and operation of wind turbine? People already know that the rear of the blade is curved more than the front. This varied shape causes a pressure differential when the air moves across the blade, which is what causes the blades to move. So alam natin na ang rear part ng wind turbine blades ay mas curved kaysa sa harap. Dahil sa different ng shape nito, nagkakaroon ng pressure difference. Kapag dumadaloy ang hangin sa ibabaw ng blade, ang pressure difference nito ang siyang nagiging dahilan kung bakit umiikot ang blades. Because of the obstruction of the blade, air moves at a faster velocity behind the blade than in front of it. This is what sets the rotation of the blades in motion. Dahil din sa blade bilang obstruction, ang hangin ay mas mabilis dumaloy sa likod ng blade kaysa sa harap nito. Ang mas mabilis na airflow sa likod ang nagsisimula at nagpapatuloy ng rotation ng blades. Engineers must consider speed and drag in designing the blades to ensure the highest level of efficiency. For example, if too much drag is created by the obstruction of the blades, the power yield will be a lot lower. If not enough drag is created, the blades could move too quickly, causing them to break the sound barrier. So, kaya mahalagang i-consider ng mga engineers ang tamang balance ng speed at drag ng blade design. Kapag sobrang drag, mababa ang power output ng turbine. Pero kapag kulang naman ang drag, pwedeng umikot ng sobrang bilis sa blade na maaaring mag-cause ng structural damage o umabot sa sound barrier na delikado sa system. Next is the rule of thumb. So meron tayong tatlo nito. Una, the fewer blades the better, since there will be the less drag and increase in efficiency. So pangalawa is the number of the blade increases the torque and reduces the optimum rotation speed. Pangatlo is having fewer blades reduces drag. Ngayon, pag-usapan natin yung one blade. Basahin natin, because of the decreased drag, one blade would be the optimum number when it comes to energy yield. However, one blade could cause the turbine to become unbalanced, and this is not practical choice for the stability of turbine. So, sa one blade wind turbine, theory, ito sana ang pinaka-optimal pagdating sa energy yield dahil mas konti ang drag. Ibig sabihin, mas konti ang resistance ang hinaharap ng blade habang umiikot. Kaya mas maraming energy pwedeng ma-convert mula sa hangin. Pero sa actual application, may malaking problema to. Dahil isa lang ang blade, nagiging unbalance ng turbine habang umiikot. This imbalance can cause vibrations, extra stress sa structure, at possible masira ang turbine over time. Dahil dito, hindi stable ang operation at mas mataas ang maintenance fees. So kahit efficient sa theory, ang one blade turbine ay hindi practical sa toong mundo dahil kulang ito sa stability at safety. Kaya mas pinipili pa rin ang design na may mas maraming blades para maging balance, durability, at consistent performance. So next naman is sa two blade. So sabi rito, sa unang tingin daw ay parang ito ang ideal design. Dahil dalawang blades, balance na ang turbine at dahil mas konti ang blades kumpara sa three blade, mas mababa ang drag. So ibig sabihin, pwede itong umikot ng mas mabilis at maging efficient sa pag-generate ng energy. Pero may dahilan kung bakit hindi lahat ng turbines ay two-blade. Ang main problem nito ay ang yawing. The yaw ay ang pag-ikot ng head o nozzle ng turbine para humarap sa direction ng hangin. Sa two-blade turbine, kapag nag-yaw ito, nangyayari ang tinatawag na gyroscopic precession. Dahil sa effect na to, nagkakaroon ng wobble o pag-uga. Habang ang blades ay gumagalaw mula sa vertical plane papuntang horizontal plane. Ang wobble nito ay naglalagay ng extra stress sa mounting bearings. Kaya mas mabilis silang napupudpod at nasisira. Dahil dito, kahit efficient design, ang two blades turbine ay mas problematic sa long term, stability at maintenance. Next is more than 3 blade. Sabi rito, any number of blades greater than 3 would create greater wind resistance, slowing the generation of electricity and thus becoming less efficient than a 3-blade turbine. So kapag ang wind turbine ay more than 3 blades, tumataas ang wind resistance o yung drag na tinatawag. Dahil dito, bumabagal ang ikot ng wind turbine, kaya mas konti ang electricity na naproproduce o nagagawa nito. So dito naman tayo sa 3 blades. For these reasons, turbine design with 3 blades are ideal, a compromise between high energy yield and greater stability and durability of the turbine set. So, ang 3-blade wind turbine na pinakakaraniwang design na ginagamit ngayon. So, dahil ito ang pinaka-ideal sa pagitan ng mataas na energy yield at matibay na stability. Yung tatlong blades, balance ang ikot ng turbine, kaya mas smooth ang operation at mas kaunti ang vibration kumpara sa 1-blade o 2-blade design. Bukod dito, sapat lang ang drag na nakikreate ng 3 blades para makapture ang energy ng hangin nang hindi masyadong pinapabagal ang rotation nito. Dahil dito, consistent na power generation. Kahit nagbabago or inconsistent yung hangin. And last, mas matibay din ang ganitong design dahil pantay ang stress na napupunta sa blades, hub at bearings. So, ibig sabihin, mas mahaba ang lifespan nito. At mas mababa ang maintenance. Kaya sa overall, ang 3 blades turbine ang pinakamahusay or pinakamagandang choice pagdating sa efficiency, stability, at durability.
Hello, I'm Mark Flores at sa part na ito ng presentation, papaliwanag ko kung ano ang blade aerodynamics at kung ano ang relationship nito sa pag-ikot o pag-rotate ng bawat blade ng wind turbine. Una sa lahat, ang aerodynamics ay tumutukoy sa galaw at behavior ng hangin kapag ito ay tumatama o dumadaloy sa isang specific na object. Sa case na ito, ang object na tinutukoy natin ay ang wind turbine blade na may special na hugis na tinatawag na airfoil. Ang hugis na ito ang dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng iba't ibang puwersa kapag tinatamaan ng hangin ang blade. Kapag ang hangin ay dumaloy sa paligid ng blade, dalawang pangunahing force or aerodynamic forces ang nabubuo. Ito ay ang lift force at ang drag force. Pareho silang mahalaga, pero magkaiba ang epekto nila sa galaw ng blade. Ang lift force ay ang persang kumikilos ng patayo o perpendicular sa direksyon ng hangin. Ang force na ito ang pinaka-importanteng dahilan kung bakit umiikot ang wind turbine blade. Dahil sa pressure difference ng magkabilang side ng blade, nabubuo ang lift na nagtutulak sa blade paharap. Kaya nagkakaroon ng rotational motion. Sa madaling salita, ang lift force ang pangunahing puwersang nagko-convert ng wind energy papunta sa mechanical energy ng turbine. Samantala, ang drag force naman ay ang puwersang kumikilos parallel sa direksyon ng hangin. Ito ay nag-act bilang resistance o kontra sa galaw ng blade. Habang tumataas ang drag force, mas nahihirapan ang blade na umikot dahil binabawasan nito ang rotational speed ng turbine. Dito pa lang, makikita na natin kung gaano kahalaga ang tamang blade design. Kailangan ma-maximize ang lift force dahil ito ang nagpapaikot sa blade. Habang minimize ang drag force dahil ito ang pumipigil sa efficient rotation. Kapag tama ang balance ng lift at drag, mas magiging efficient ang wind turbine at mas maraming electrical energy ang mapuproduce mula sa hangin. Sa diagram na ito, makikita natin ang lift at drag forces na kumikilos sa isang airfoil. Tulad ng blade ng wind turbine, habang tumatama ang hangin, ang direksyon nito ay tinatawag na relative wind. Ang anggulo sa pagitan ng relative wind at ng chord line ng blade ay ang angle of attack. Importante ito dahil dito nakadepende kung gaano kalaki ang lift at drag na mabubuo. Ang lift force ay yung pwersang pataas o perpendicular sa airfoil. Based sa kanyang formula, makikita na ang lift ay naapektuhan ng wind speed, air density, surface area ng blade at ng lift coefficient. Habang mas mabilis ang hangin at mas tama ang angle of attack, mas malaki ang lift na tumutulong sa pag-ikot ng blade. Samantala, ang drag force ay yung pwersang kasabay ng direksyon ng hangin at sumasalungat sa galaw ng blade. Ayon sa kanyang formula, tumataas ang drag kapag mas malaki ang area na humaharang sa hangin. Ang pinagsamang epekto ng lift at drag force ay tinatawag na resultant force. At ito ang dahilan kung bakit umiikot ang wind turbine blades ng efficient kapag tama ang design at angle of attack. Another important function ng airfoil ay ang kakayahan nitong lumikha ng pressure difference sa magkaibang surface ng blade. Dahil sa special na hugis ng blade, mas curve o convex ang isang side, habang mas flat o bahagyang concave naman ang kabilang side. Kapag dumaloy ang hangin sa blade, mas bumibilis ang hangin sa mas curved na side, kaya bumababa ang air pressure sa bahaging iyon. Samantala, sa mas flat na side ng blade, mas mabagal ang daloy ng hangin, kaya mas mataas ang air pressure. Dahil dito, nagkakaroon ng pressure imbalance sa magkabilang side ng blade. Ang pressure difference na ito ang nagiging sanhi kung bakit natutulak ng blade sa isang direksyon or ang blade sa isang direksyon. Ang high pressure air mula sa flatter side ay nagtutulak papunta sa low pressure area ng convex side. Ang resultang pwersa na ito ang dahilan kung bakit gumagalaw at umiikot ang wind turbine blade. Sa madaling salita, hindi lang basta tinutulak ng hangin ang blade. Ang design ng airfoil mismo ang nagbibigay daan para makabuo ng pressure difference na nagko-convert ng wind energy papunta sa rotational motion. Ito ang isa sa pinakamahalagang prinsipyo kung bakit nagiging efficient ang operation ng wind turbine. Sa slide na to, makikita natin ang blade wind orientation at ang relation nito sa angle of attack ng wind turbine blade. Based sa figure, ang hangin ay pumapasok mula sa kaliwang side. Kaya ang unang bahagi ng blade na tinatamaan ng hangin ay tinatawag na leading edge. Ito ang front ng blade at karaniwan itong mas bilog o makapal ang hugis. Samantala, ang trailing edge naman ay matatagpuan sa likod ng blade kung saan umaalis o lumalabas ang hangin matapos itong dumaloy sa ibabaw at ilalim ng airfoil. Mapapansin na mas manipis o matulis ang trailing edge kumpara sa leading edge. Ang angle of attack ay ang anggulo sa pagitan ng direction ng hangin at chord line ng blade. Kapag tama ang angle of attack, mas malaki ang lift force na nabubuo at mas kontrolado ang drag force. Ang lift force ay kumikilos pataas o perpendicular sa airfoil or airflow, habang ang drag ay kumikilos kasabay ng direksyon ng hangin. Sa madaling salita, oo, ang leading edge ay nasa harap at ang trailing edge ay nasa likod. Ang tamang orientation ng blade at tamang angle of attack na nagsisecure or nasisigurado na efficient ang pag-ikot ng wind turbine at mas maraming energy ang makukuha mula sa hangin.
And hello guys, dito naman tayo sa wind turbine parts and function. Una dito yung blade tilting mechanism. Basahin na natin. As wind speed varies, the relative velocity angle of the airflow also changes. The blade tilting mechanism consists of sensor control components in the wind turbine that adjust the blade angle to maintain proper alignment with the incoming wind. This ensures that the blade are consistently positioned at the optimum angle of attack. Yung optimum angle attack na nabanggit nga yun. Dito, yung blade tilting mechanism, dahil, di ba, sabi dito, yung velocity angle of the airflow, pabago-bago yan. Dito, yung blade tilting mechanism, kumbaga sinusundan niya yung direction ng hangin. Direction ng hangin, i-rotate niya yung blade para ma-maintain yung papuntang hangin para mas makapag-produce ng mas mapabilis yung ikot ng blade. Yun. Dito naman tayo sa nacelle. Yung nacelle, the housing located at the rear of the blade contain the low-speed shaft, gearbox, generator, and other internal components. Kumbaga siya yung case or sabi nga natin housing. Andyan makita niyo sa picture kung ano yung mga nakapaloob dyan. Tatalakayin din natin yan sa susunod na slides. Next is yung gearbox. Ano nga ba yung function ng gearbox? Basahin muna natin. The gearbox is the component that increases the slow rotational speed of the turbine blades to a higher speed. Yung gearbox, kasi di ba mabagal yung pag-ikot ng blade. Yung gearbox, kino-convert niya yung mabagal na ikot ng blade, mas pinabibilis niya para makapag-produce ng mas malakas na kuryente. This speed increase is necessarily because the rotation produced by wind force is usually too low. Ayan, mababa. For the generator to produce grid quality voltage, most generator require rotational speed about 1,500 RPM and 1,800 RPM, which is not feasible for turbine blade. Yan. Ayan yung picture ng gearbox. Yan, andyan sa loob yun. May mga gear type. Alam niyo na may mga gear eh. Kumbaga, ano yun? Sa ba meron na ito? Sa mga bisikleta, ayun, parang ganun. Gear type. Para may mga ipin siya, ganun. Andun yun yung nasa loob ng gearbox. Ayan, dito naman tayo sa next slide. Ayan, mas kita natin yung gearbox. Ayan yung nasa loob ng gearbox. Ayan yung mga gear. Yung mga gear na yan yung nag-convert ng speed. Mas, depende kasi yun eh, kung ano yung umiikot eh. Pag mas malaki yung umiikot, ayan, tapos i-ano mo siya sa mas maliit, yung rotation ng malaki, mas mabagal compared sa maliit. Yun. Doon parang sa turbine, yun. Di ba mabagal yung ikot ng blade? Yun, tinabibilis nung gearbox. And a common gearbox ratio is around 90:1, where an input speed about 16.7 RPM from the rotor is increased to approximately 1,500 RPM at generator output. Ayun, mabilis na yun. 16.7. mako-convert natin sa 1,500 RPM. Yung 90:1 na yon, halimbawa, yung isang ikot mo sa, halimbawa sa oval, isang ikot mo sa oval, yung isang gear naman, umiikot siya ng 90. 90. Ganun kabilis. Ganun kabilis yung ratio na to. 90:1. Dito naman yung alternative design, direct drive gearless. Di ba hindi sapat yung ikot ng turbine para makapag-produce ng kuryente? Kadalasan hindi sapat yung bilis. Ayan. Dito pumapasok yung direct drive gearless. Ayan. Dito wala na tayong gearbox dito. Ayan. In a direct drive turbine, there is no gearbox. The main shaft spins the generator directly, causing it to spin the same speed as the turbine blades. Ayan. Same speed na sila sa turbine blades. Comparing to a gear type, the slow rotation and decrease in moving parts of PMDD generator reduces fatigue and stresses on the turbine, resulting to reduced noise and vibration, longer lifetime, and lower cost of maintenance. Yan. Yan. Ayan yung picture ng gearbox. Ay, direct drive pala. Ayan. Ito, isa pa to, padagdag lang natin sa direct drive gearless. Due to the inconsistent nature of wind, gear wind turbines are often operate at partial load conditions. Under these conditions, PMDD generators maintain high efficiency and continue to operate close to their nominal values. Because of this advantage, the PMDD design is well suited for offshore and wind application. Yun, mas ano nga siya, yung PMDD design. One major disadvantages of PMDD generators is that due to their slower rotational speed, additional magnets are required to achieve the desired frequency and power output. This increases the generator diameter, making it larger and heavier compared to geared wind turbines. In addition, the magnet fuse are typically made of neodymium. Yun yung mahal, galing siya sa China lang siya nabibili. Kaya, which is expensive, further increasing the overall cost. Yan. Kaya mas prepared pa din yung gear type na isa pa dito yung the high cost and heavy weight of direct drive turbines. Limited lang yung ability to compete with geared turbines in the past. However, some experts sinasabi nila na direct drive technology will eventually become dominant since gearbox-based wind turbines are already close to their maximum efficiency. Kumbaga yung development, andun na. While PMDD generators still offer more potential for future improvements. Yung PMDD generators, madami pa siyang pwedeng i-improve. Madami pang mga engineer or researcher na maaari pang improve yung PMDD generators compared to gear type. Yun. Next part natin yung brake. Ano ba pag sa nadidinig natin itong brake? Hiwalay? Hindi, iba yun. Brake, kumbaga papahinto. Sa mga kadalasan meron yan, mga sasakyan. The brake system in a wind turbine is a protective mechanism integrated with a sensor that automatically stop the rotation of the blade. Automatic na pala niya i-stop yung blade when potentially harmful conditions are detected. Pag may na-detect na harmful, na halimbawa may malfunction and extremely high winds and maintenance activities, or power line issues. Ang alam ko dito kapag may isang parts ng turbine, may nagma-malfunction na siya, automatic, yun, i-stop niya yung yung pag-ikot ng turbine para hindi na kumalat or mas lumala yung damage. Mas maiiwasan siya, ganun. Next is yaw system. Ano nga ba yung yaw system? Ito, yung yaw drive. Nasa baba siya ng nozzle. Yung wind turbine kasi dapat hindi siya naka-fix. Dapat sinusundan niya yung direction ng hangin. Dapat palaging nakaharap yung blade sa direction ng hangin. Di ba minsan yung hangin pabago-bago ng direction? Doon gumagana si yaw system or yaw drive. Yun, doon gumagana yung yaw motor. Automatic niyang sinusundan or pinapaikot yung turbine kung saan papunta yung hangin. Basahin natin dito. The yaw system is a sensor-controlled mechanism composed mainly of the yaw motor, yaw drives, and related components. Its primary function is to automatically rotate the nozzle, on top of the tower so that the blades always face directly into the wind. The system determines the correct wind direction using electronic signals from the wind vane located at the rear of the turbine, ensuring that the turbine produces the maximum possible electrical energy. Dito naman tayo sa tower. Wind speed increases with altitude, meaning taller towers can generate more electricity. So, mas mataas na tower, mas makapag-produce ng electricity kasi sa mas mataas na tower, malakas yung hangin doon, mas mataas yung altitude. Yun. Dito sabi, most wind turbines are mounted on conical tubular steel towers, typically ranging from 75 meters to 110 meters in height, depending on the blade diameter. The tallest tower expected to be completed by mid-2022 will reach 280 meters and is set to be installed at a test center in Western Jutland, Denmark. Yan. Siguro tapos na to kasi mid-2022 pa eh. Dito naman tayo sa advantage and disadvantages. Dito muna tayo sa advantages. Una dito, wind is free. Wind farms no need fuel. Libre nga naman yung hangin. Isa siya sa renewable energy. Produces no waste greenhouse gases. The land beneath can usually still be used for farming. A good method of supplying energy to remote areas. Dito naman tayo sa disadvantages. The wind is unpredictable. It changes speed throughout the day and from season to season. Isa dito pa, yung suitable areas for wind farms are often near the coastal area where land is expensive. Mahal yung mga lupa doon. Pangatlo, lastly, and can affect television reception on nearby places. Naapektuhan na to yung television reception sa mga malalapit sa wind turbine.
Makikita yung picture ngayon is yung rotor diameter in meter and rating ng kilowatts. So yung 1990, yung wind turbine natin dyan is 17 meter pa lang yung rotor niya at yung rating niya is 75 kilowatts. So nung medyo tumaas tayo ng taon, naging 1990 to 1995, syempre mas na-develop din yung ating windmill, which is naging 30 meter yung rotor diameter niya and yung rating naman niya is naging 300 kilowatts. Next is yung naging yung 1995 to 2000, yung windmill natin dyan is naging yung rotor diameter niya is naging 50 meter, and yung rating power naman niya is naging 750 kilowatts. Hanggang yung 2005, yung rotor diameter 70 meter at yung rating niya is naging 1,500 kilowatts. Yung 2005 hanggang 2010, naging yung rotor diameter niya naging 80 meter, tapos yung rating niya is naging 1,800 kilowatts. 2010 naman, hanggang 2015, yung rotor niya is naging 100 meter at yung rating niya is 3,000 kilowatts. Noong 2015 hanggang 2020, naging 125 naman yung rotor diameter niya meter, and yung rating niya is naging 5,000 kilowatts. So ano ba yung pinapakita ng ating windmill dito? Ibig sabihin lang yan, yung technology natin is nag-i-improve, yung ginagawa natin is nag-i-improve din. Kung babansin niyo, pag lumalaki yung rotor diameter natin, mas tumataas naman yung rating ng energy natin, which is sobrang helpful para sa mga bahay na nangangailangan ng energy para mas sustain at ma-produce, ma-increase yung energy natin, at para mawalan na ng kuryente. Ay, hindi na mawalan ng kuryente. Diba? Hanggang sa, kung makikita nyo dyan, is yung future nga natin, hanggang pwede siyang tumaas ng 150 meter yung rotor diameter, at maging 10,000 kilowatts naman. Hanggang sa future nga is pwede rin maging 25 to 150 meter yung rotor diameter, at maging 20,000 kilowatts naman yun. It's possible na mas tumaas pa dyan, na kung saan halos mas mataas na yung rotor diameter natin kaya sa tower height ng natin. So sobrang laking tulong talaga ng clean wind energy para sa atin na mamamayan, na kung saan kuryente talaga ang kailangan. The best place for wind turbine. So, di ba sa Pilipinas, alam naman natin, yung talagang date ay yung alam natin na lugar kung saan may turbine. Siyempre sa Ilocos, tapos sa Tagaytay. Kasi may mga constant yung mga hangin dyan na talagang malakas. So, ito is isa-isahin natin kung saan ba talaga yung mga the best place of wind turbine. So, yung topic ko nga ngayon is the best place to install wind turbine. Mahalaga lamang ang tamang lokasyon dahil dito is nakadepende kung gaano ka-effective at ka-efficient yung pag-generate ng wind energy. So, onshore areas. So, isa sa pinakamagandang lugar para sa wind turbine ay ang onshore area, tulad ng mga open plain, hills, and coastal land. Dito, malakas ang patuloy ng hangin dahil sa walang masyadong harang tulad ng mga building o puno. Sample nito is yung farmland at grassland kung saan pwedeng makasabay farming at wind energy generation. So, next is offshore area. Mas ideal pa ang offshore area o yung mga wind turbine na nilalagay sa dagat, sa open sea. Mas malakas at mas consistent ang hangin kumpara sa lupa. Dahil dito mas mataas ang energy output ng offshore wind turbine, kahit mas mahal ang pag-i-installation, na mas sulit naman dahil mas marami silang mapoproduce na kuryente. So, wind strategy location. Mahalaga rin ang mga lugar na may consistent wind speed, karaniwan na sa 30 meters per seconds pataas. Bukod dito, dapat mas malayo sa residential area para maiwasan ang noise issue, pero malapit pa rin sa power grid para madaling maipadala ang kuryente syempre. Sa short nito, in short, ang pinakamahalagang lugar para sa wind turbine ay yung yaong may malakas na tuloy-tuloy na hangin tulad ng open land at offshore area. Sa tamang location, mas naging effective ang wind turbine bilang isang source ng clean at renewable energy. Siyempre, di ba? Ilagay mo sa Maynila yung turbine niya is, di ba? Sobrang saan mo ilalagay doon, di ba? Sobrang daming nakaharang na building, ganyan, na kung saan halos baka hindi na umikot yun. Kaya dapat mamimili rin tayo ng mga specific area tulad ng mga offshore nga na kung saan open siya, walang masyadong harang na building at open area talaga siya, tulad ng mga coastal area, ganyan. So,
the 6 largest wind farm in the world. Number 1 is the Gansu Wind Farm. Next, the Alta Wind Energy Center. Susunod is the Bupandal Wind Farm. Next is Hornsea Project 1. Next is Mark Biden Wind Farm. And the last is Salmer Wind Park. Ang Gansu Wind Farm sa China ang pinakamalaking wind farm sa mundo. May plano silang gawing 20 gigawatts capacity na humihigit kumulang halos 7,000 turbine. Sapat na ito para mag-supply ng kuryente sa isang maliit na bansa. And yung Alta Wind Energy Center naman na matatagpuan natin sa California, ang pinakamalaking wind farm na may 1,550 megawatts capacity. Next is the Bupandal Wind Farm. Matatagpuan to sa India. The Bupandal Wind Farm located in Kanyakumari district in India, in the largest operational wind farm in the country, operated by Tamil Nadu Energy Development Agency. It was a totally installed the capacity of 1,500 megawatts. So yung Bupandal Wind Farm, ang pinamalaking operational wind farm na mayroong halos 1,500 sa India. Hornsea Project 1, ito naman yung matatagpuan sa UK. Hornsea Project 1 with a totally capacity of 1.2 gigawatts is the largest offshore wind farm in the world. It was also the first offshore wind farm in the world to surpass 1 gigawatts in capacity. Located off the Yorkshire coast, it's covered 407 square kilometers and compresses 174 Siemens turbine, each with individual capacity of 7 megawatts. Ang Hornsea Project 1 ang isa sa pinakamalaking offshore na wind farm sa mundo na mayroong halos ng 1.2 gigawatts capacity na binubuo ng 174 turbines, matatagpuan sa baybayin ng Yorkshire. Ang Mark Biden Wind Farm o 1101 ay isa sa pinakamalaking wind farm project sa mundo, located sa labas ng North Sweden. Sakop nito ng 450 square kilometer at connected sa 700 kilometer na road network. Kapag natapos magkakaroon ito ng halos 1,101 turbine, hati ang project sa tatlong main phase kung saan sabay-sabay at iba-ibang sub-project sa pag-assemble ng turbine. Ang kuryente na makukuha nila dito ay dumadaan sa halos 400 kilovolts cable at pinamamahagi sa mga customer through Sweden National Grid. Desalmer, na kung saan matatagpuan din siya sa India, babalikan ko lang yung isang wind farm nila, yung Mopandal, na ang pinakamalaking operational wind farm na mayroong 1,500 megawatts, habang ang Jaisalmer naman, ito na yung ang Jaisalmer Wind Park naman ay ang pangalawa sa pinakamalaking na mayroong capacity na 1,064 megawatts capacity. Ibig sabihin, dalawa yung wind farm sa India. Isang 1,500 kilowatts ay megawatts, at yung isa naman yung Jaisalmer niya is 1,064 megawatts. Next is the Burgos Wind Farm Philippines. The Burgos Wind Farm Philippines, Ilocos Norte, Philippines is a 150 megawatts onshore wind power project. One of Southeast Asia largest utilizes 50 Vestal turbine to generate clean energy for the Luzon grid owned by EDC. And so babansin natin yung Burgos Wind Farm sa Pilipinas, ikukumpara mo sa ibang wind farm, is sobrang layo ng capacity, diba? Yung sa may Casino, yung sa may China na halos 20 giga o 20 gigawatts, samantala ito is mega lang, 150 pa. So located nga itong Burgos na to is sa Burgos, Ilocos Norte, Philippines. May siyang capacity na 150 megawatts 150 megawatts, at yung turbine natin is 50 units of Vestal. Yung area niya is about 600 to 686 hectare, at yung own operator na to is yung EDC Burgos Wind Power Corporation o EBWPC. So next is the grid operation. The grid operation of a wind turbine to be a switchyard involved converting mechanical energy into electricity, stepping up voltage for transmission, and integrating the power into the utility grid while ensuring the stability. So the basic operation niya is ganito lang yan. Kumbaga sa windmill, pag naka-rotor hub siya, nakasagap siya ng wind, hangin, punta siya sa may rotor blade, punta siya ng gearbox, generator, nacelle, and power cable, tower, tapos diretso sa may transformer, step up, tapos punta sa may ang buklaw na ngayon, tapos punta sa may ating customer na. Yan ang basic pinaka visualize niya para mas maintindihan natin.